flames are not just fire, they are the anger of a generation. In Kathmandu, the parliament itself burns, set ablaze by the youth who refuse to be silenced. This is not just protest. This is a cry for justice, a warning to every leader who betrays the people. Kathmandu, the city of temples, once alive with music, prayers, and color, now it echoes with the cries of despair, shuttered shops, empty streets, and angry chants that rise against a government that has failed its people. In the heart of Nepal, a storm is brewing. The parliament collapses. Again, ministers fight for power, and while they argue, the people starve. Young men and women, dreamers once filled with hope, are now on the streets holding placards, shouting for change. But their voices are drowned in tear gas and silence. Electricity cuts, rising prices, jobs are disappearing like smoke in the wind. How did it come to this? Nepal, a nation of mountains that touch the sky, a culture richer than gold, a people known for strength, dignity, and resilience, is brought down to its knees by leaders who serve themselves instead of their people. A mother waits in line for food, her child clinging to her arms. A father returns home, empty-handed, ashamed, and broken. The youth, scrolling on their phones, watch their future disappear as the government bans social media, fearing their own people more than foreign enemies. This is not just a political collapse. This is a collapse of trust, collapse of dignity, collapse of hope. And in this darkness, one question burns in every heart. Will Nepal ever rise again? The story of Nepal's struggle is not unique. Nations across the world have faced the same crossroad. But while some fall deeper into chaos, others rise. Because of one thing, leadership, real leadership. And to understand this, we must look far beyond Nepal, to another land, thousands of miles away. A land that was broken once, but now is finding its strength again. Burkina Faso. And there stands a man, a leader who refused to bow, who chose his people over power.
Ibrahim Traoré.
Burkina Faso, a land in West Africa. For years, it too was drowning in despair.
Terrorisme, pauvreté, corruption.
People were tired of leaders who only served themselves. But then, something changed. From among the youth rose a man, not a polished politician, not a career opportunist, but a soldier, a patriot, and above all, a man of integrity. His name,
Ibrahim Traoré.
At just 34 years old, he became the youngest leader in the world. The people didn't just see a president. They saw a brother, a son of the soil, a leader who walked with them, and not above them. When Traoré took power, he inherited chaos. Foreign influence ran deep. Trust in leadership was broken. The youth were angry, hopeless, ready to give up. But Ibrahim Traoré spoke differently. He said, "We will no longer bow. We will stand." His words were not just speeches. They took action. He cut unnecessary luxuries for politicians and redirected those funds to the people. He walked in markets, shaking hands, listening to ordinary men and women. He empowered the youth, telling them they are the true guardians of Burkina Faso. Imagine the same streets that once echoed with despair, now filled with chants of hope. Where fear once lived, courage took its place. Where silence ruled, now the drums of unity beat louder. Children began to believe in a future again. Farmers felt proud to till their land. Soldiers fought not just for orders but for their people. Burkina Faso slowly transformed, not into a perfect nation, but into a nation that believed again. This is the power of leadership, the difference between a leader who takes and a leader who gives, between a leader who hides and a leader who stands with his people. In Nepal, we saw what happens when leaders fail. In Burkina Faso, we see what happens when a leader rises. And now, it is clear, a nation is not destroyed by poverty, nor by crisis, but by the failure of leadership. Because when true leadership appears, Even in the darkest night, the people find light. The world is watching. Two nations, two destinies, two reflections of leadership. In Nepal, chaos fills the streets. People cry for justice, their trust in leaders shattered. A nation rich in culture and history, but weakened by corruption and endless power games. And then, across the continent in Africa, a different story unfolds. Burkina Faso, where a young leader, Ibrahim Traoré, chose a harder path, not for power, not for wealth, but for his people. He walked among them, not above them. He listened, he inspired, and he gave them hope. This is the truth about leadership. It is not about ruling. It is about serving, not about taking, but about giving. Nepal today reminds us of the cost. When leaders fail their people. Burkina Faso reminds us of the gift. When leaders rise with courage. The question is not about Nepal, nor about Africa alone. It is about all of us. What kind of leaders do we choose? What kind of leaders do we follow? And what kind of leaders will we become? Because the destiny of a nation is written by the integrity of its leaders and the silence of its people. Remember this, a weak leader destroys hope, but a true leader can rebuild a nation. In the heart of every nation, there comes a moment of truth, a moment when the soul of a people is tested, when the silence of the weak collides with the arrogance of the powerful. Nepal faced such a moment, a government collapsing from within, leaders chasing their own comfort, while the streets filled with anger, hunger, and despair. Trust was broken, faith was lost, and the people asked, "Who will rise for us?" When those in power only rise for themselves. But far away, in the land of Burkina Faso, another story was unfolding. A young leader, Ibrahim Traoré, stepped into the fire of history, not to enrich himself, but to serve, not to silence the people, but to listen to them, not to rule with fear, but to lead with courage. And here lies the greatest contrast. In one corner of the world, leadership was betrayal. In another, leadership was rebirth. Pause for a moment, and imagine this. A crowd in Kathmandu chanting, but not being heard. A crowd in Ouagadougou chanting, and being embraced by their leader. Same voices of the people, but two completely different responses. One ignored, the other empowered. This is the lesson the world must not forget. Leadership is not about sitting on a throne, wearing fine clothes, or delivering speeches filled with empty promises. Leadership is about carrying the weight of the people on your shoulders, and refusing to let it crush them. Ibrahim Traoré did not come from palaces or powerful families. He rose from among the people. He looked them in the eyes and said, "We will stand together." And in that moment, he did what leaders in Nepal failed to do. He rebuilt trust, because without trust, a nation collapses, but with trust, a nation rises again. Now, let us reflect deeper. Why do some nations fall, while others rise? Is it resources? Is it geography? Is it destiny? No, it is leadership. Nothing more, nothing less. A corrupt leader can drown a nation, even if it is rich in gold, oil, or mountains. But an honest leader, even in a poor land, can create abundance out of nothing. And this truth is not only for Nepal, not only for Africa, but for the entire world, for America, for Europe, for Asia, because everywhere, the battle is the same. People want dignity. People want justice. People want a leader who serves them, not themselves. Ibrahim Traoré became that symbol. He became proof that when a leader stands with integrity, people can find hope again. And hope is the most powerful currency of all. Hope feeds the hungry. Hope protects the weak. Hope gives strength to the hopeless. And once hope is born, no army, no empire, no corruption can destroy it. Think again about Nepal. People in the streets, their voices drowned by chaos, their cries fading into despair. But imagine if even one leader had risen among them. with courage like Traore, with honesty like Traore, with faith like Traore, would the story be different today? This is not just about politics. This is about life. Because leadership does not only live in presidents and ministers. It lives in every home, every family, every community. A father leading his children with love is leadership. A teacher guiding her students with honesty is leadership. A young man or woman refusing corruption, choosing truth over lies, that too is leadership. So the real question is, are we waiting for leaders to save us? Or are we ready to become leaders in our own lives? Look at Ibrahim Traore again. A soldier, a man in his 30s, not a king, not a billionaire, just a man who chose courage. And in choosing courage, he became a symbol for millions. The world today does not need more rulers. It needs more leaders. It needs more souls who choose service over greed, honesty over lies, sacrifice over comfort. And this is where Nepal's story and Burkina Faso's story meet. One fell because leadership died. The other rose because leadership lived. And in that contrast, we are reminded of a universal truth. Corrupt leader can destroy a nation, but a true leader can rebuild one. Think about that, because this truth will outlive governments, outlive presidents, outlive even nations themselves. It is the eternal truth of human history. And now, I ask you directly, if you believe the world needs more leaders like Ibrahim Traore, if you believe that integrity and courage are stronger than corruption and greed, then don't just watch this story. Be part of it. Like this video, share it with your friends, and let your voice be heard in the comments. Right? I love Traore, not just as words, but as a symbol of the leadership the world needs. And if you believe in this vision, subscribe to this channel, because here, we do not just tell stories. We remind the world of the power of truth, the strength of integrity, and the hope of humanity. Nepal's fall teaches us what happens when leadership is lost. Burkina Faso's rise teaches us what happens when leadership is found. And together, their stories whisper one lesson to us all. The destiny of a nation is never written in stone. It is written in the courage of its people and in the honesty of its leaders. So remember this, wherever you are in the world. A true leader is not the one who rules above you. A true leader is the one who walks beside you. And sometimes, that true leader can even be you.